Wow, it's really nice that you made it to Prelude to Ulysses. Alex reads The Popolva. Popolva. Um, this is a harder book to read for old Alex because he's kind of dumb in the head. Not in the brain, though. Whew! So I actually already did this. I tried to, anyways, and I failed. This is the end of something I already read, where it's kind of like just describing how people finding this book. It's kind of cool, but it's hard to remember stuff. A lot of people's names and stuff. This isn't my normal thing. That's my normal thing. I was like, what's going on? Why does this look good? No, thank you. Let's make it bad. So, I know I fucking forgot to steal that pen. I wouldn't steal. God damn it, quit erasing that. Days I'm dawning at the thing that I'm living. So, there's 14 things I really like to explain today. 2, 9, 0, 1, 2, 8. 9, 0. Okay. So we're going to read the Chronicle of the Indians Part 2. Is this helpful at all? Is this helpful? Tap this for yes, tap this for no. Okay, we'll do some acronyms then. This is just for me, not for you. Chronicle of the Indians. God damn. And I think this is part 2. We might have to change this to part 3 because I don't know what happened last time. Well, I did like a 5-minute thing where I was just like, where was I? And I keep reading parts. Excuse me. And I get confused. Shit, I fucking lost my part where I was. Because I pulled the fucking thing out and I fucking wasn't looking. Sorry for all the bad language. Let's get started. Woo! Sorry about that. Sometimes you just gotta get it out, right? It's kind of confusing. It's kind of going through the history in a non-chronological fashion, describing how the Spanish inquisitors and perhaps some other people found several books. At one point it says 5 books, and then it says there's just one book of prophecy or cunnilingus or whatever that word is. It's a really cool word. And it's just kind of going through that. And we'll do about 80 pages of that before we get into the meat of this. If you want to skip it, go right ahead. But I wouldn't, because I'm not going to. So I'm just going to pick up where I left off, okay? Pick this. Can you read that? Can you read the fucking acronyms I wrote? Ow! Okay, babies. Sorry for calling you babies. I call the birds babies, and my dog babies. I don't really usually call people babies, so, not to say I think you're an animal, but you are a little bit, aren't you? Alright, well, just get going. This is terrible. This is fucking awful so far. It's not for you to judge. Okay, take a breath. You got this. Hi, Lotus. On this channel so far, on the Popolva, you haven't met my dog yet. Maybe you will. She's the best. She's better than you and me. Okay. The Canon Ordóñez y Aguilar copies a paragraph of the Constituciones diocesanas of the Bishop of Chiapas, Núñez de la Vega, in which he relates the superstitions of the Tzeltal Indians. I'm guessing a lot of this pronunciation, if that wasn't blatantly obvious, and tells of a very old historical booklet in quotations written by them, which was in the hands of the prelate. The prelate is like the primitive people. God, we looked it up last time. We're not looking it up again. That's the last thing I did was I looked up this word. Just goes to show you, learning's for dumbasses. It doesn't work. This book, according to the bishop, clearly shows by generations the names of the principal men and the ancestors. I hope I don't have to read a bunch of names. Ordóñez y Aguilar adds that the Indians entrusted him with the same original booklet, which he calls Probanza de Votan, and that he decided to interpret and explain it. This same Votan had written a book about the origin of the Indians and their immigration to these countries. If one can believe what Ordóñez y Aguilar, Cristina Aguilera, says in a passage of the second volume of his work, which Brasseur de Bourberg reproduced in the introduction to his edition of Popol Vuh. In that which pertains to the Quiche kingdom, I haven't read in a while, okay? I went through a whole phase where I was losing my brain. Again, that happens a lot. Now we're back. We're back to it, I hope. I'm not saying my brain's back, okay? It's just I'm here now. Now I'm doing it. In that which pertains to the Chique or Quiche kingdom, we have the priceless testimony of the author of the Manuscrito de Chichicastenango, who declares that in olden times there was in his village one of these books, doubtlessly, or maybe it's a bunch of the same book. I'm kind of lost in many ways, but in this part, I don't understand how many books they uncovered, because at one point it does say they have 5 books. Oh, is that why there's 4 parts? Maybe I'm misunderstanding things. I usually am, so let's just keep reading. Who declares that in olden times there was in his village one of these books, doubtlessly written with the aid of paintings, which described historical events and foretold future happenings which might affect the life of the nation. The life of the nation. This statement is corroborated by the contemporaneous testimony of Alonso de Zorita, oidor of the Audiencia de los Confines, who says that during his visit to the province of Yucatán between 1553 and 1557, he could, with the help of Dominican friar Bishop Las Casas, familiarize himself with the political system of the Chique, from paintings they had of their ancient people of more than 800 years, and from accounts of very old people. They are the people to talk to, sometimes. It was very difficult for the natives of Guatemala to renounce the traditions of their forefathers. And for a long time after the conquest, they continued to perform their dances, during which they sang episodes of their ancient history. Oh, I wish I learned history with a song. God, what do you think the slave owners were singing? I looked up my last name, and it's a lot of people that are African American, which I think means I was probably a slave owner. Not me. I didn't do it, but God. I owe all this. Probably. I don't have much, though. I have a lot of books. I'm really fucking broke, actually. What's your point? What's your point? I don't remember. I wish that. Well, no, maybe my people shouldn't sing about our specific history in any. I don't think that would be a happy dance, right? Maybe for them back in the day, but I'm taking a hard stance against slavery. Yeah. I'm glad I had to say that. I'm glad I felt I had to say that. What does that say about me? Doesn't matter. Read the fucking book, dip dong. Okay. Don't cuss at me. Got a lot of pages. Okay. I love that they are singing songs, is my point. Songs and dances to reveal your history, or to relive or interpret your history and show that to your kids, or to do it for your grandparents or something. It's a really beautiful thing. I think I've never done it. I sing fucking Queen. That's it. Somebody. Never mind. I am sorry. I just got off work. I'm not sorry to you or work. I am a little overamped though. faulting out, during which they sang episodes of their ancient history and recited passages of their mythology. That's great. Fuck the conquest. Fuck you, conquistador bitches. The Spaniards were not pleased with this. Fuck you, anyways. As early as the year 1550. And as early as the year 1550. So wait, who is... Oh, okay. The guy that was in there from 1553 who had the friar with him, that was just the statement corroborated. And it's just all about this book, really. Of course it's all about this book. You're going to read a lot about this book before you read it. That's cool. Okay, good. The Spaniards were not pleased with this, and as early as the year 1550, licenciado Tomás López, oidor of the Audiencia of Guatemala, less tolerant than his predecessor in the illustrious Zorita, requested the king that he not permit the Indians to perform their old dances as they do, sing in ancient idolatrous histories. I fucking hate goddamn people. What's it called when you make everything the same thing? Chewing. What is it with fucking Western religions, or I guess maybe any religion? I don't know. Why do people gotta chew? Why do people gotta chew each other? Chew up whole fucking civilizations and just shit out a fucking Christian. Hi, baby. Sorry. Really struggling today. Okay. The American Indian's devotion to his ancient beliefs still persisted in Yucatan in the 17th century, according to the following paragraphs. So the Yucatan, is that northern? Is that like where, I don't know where anything is. Okay. Let's look at this illustration. Map, page 2. Okay, so Yucatan is, I don't know anything, but it's the northernmost part of Central America, it looks like. What is that up there? Is that Mexico now? Good thing I don't understand anything. Their devotion persisted until the 17th century, according to the following paragraphs from Coliudo's Historia de Yucatan. They had a very this is a quote from that book. I'm going to try something with this camera. Just hang tight, okay? Just chill. Oh, Jesus. It's so much better, isn't it? Damn it! Now it's slippery. I work with a lot of powders and a lot of sludges. And it gets on my phone. That's what you've been looking through. See all them smudges? Okay. I'm so sorry that we're not getting it done. So sorry I'm wasting your time. So this is what Coliondo said. I don't remember his name appearing before this moment, but probably another conquistador douchebag. They had very harmful legends of the creation of the world, and some, after they knew how, had them written down, kept them and read them at their gatherings, although they had been baptized Christians. Dr. Aguilar says in his Informe that he had one of these books of legends, which he took from a choir master of the chapel, by the name of Cuitun, I don't know, of the town of Zucop. Let's see. I don't see it in the Yucatan, whatever. From which he, the choir master, fled, and he could never reach him in order to learn the origin of their genesis. What do you think that means? Like the origin of their actual people, or the origin that they spread against Christ Almighty, the Lord and Salvator? I'm unsure what he means by their genesis. or if the choir master was Mayan. Okay, whatever. This is also the origin of the books of Chilam Balam, which were found in various places in Yucatan, and which contain the chronological story of the ancient deeds of the Maya of the peninsula. Cool! Is that a peninsula? Doesn't really look like it. More like a lump. I guess it's a peninsula. Sure, whatever. With a very liberal and human understanding, befitting real Christian missionaries, the Spanish priests and friars of Guatemala, from the beginning of the colonial period, undertook to teach the Indians to read and write Spanish. Some of the latter made rapid progress in writing and using the Latin alphabet, and wrote in their own language the chronicles and stories of the ancient times, which they had preserved by handing them down by word of mouth or by means of pictorial characters. The Spanish clergy, I love it. God, it's like I didn't even. This is gonna sound so stupid, but I didn't understand that Spanish came from Spain. God. Doesn't all of South America speak Spanish? What is their native tongue? For realsies. Before these fucking conquistador dicklords fucking sorry for all the language. I'll try to speak in Spanish as well. Le conquistador dickholes. Sorry, that's not funny. I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm pretty thoughtless. I thought that the two languages just kind of happened at the same time and just happened to be very similar, but that's pretty stupid, pretty silly. Damn, and the 1500s was not that long ago. Or when was the conquest? It doesn't matter, just keep reading. The Spanish clergy not only did not oppose this work, but actually encouraged the Indians in it. And thanks to this enlightened policy, it doesn't say when. I really need better time on this. A better year categorization. I love it. Valuable documents have come down to us which shed light on the history of the races that inhabited the country many centuries before the Spaniards arrived. This is just kind of blowing my mind how dumb I am. But, you know, whatever. If you're dumb, it's easy to blow your mind, right? With regard to this policy, the anonymous author of Isogage Histórica Apologética de las Indias Occidentales, written in Guatemala at the end of the 18th century, comments, at the request of the first Spaniards and the first priests, the Indians wrote down various accounts in which they told of their origin, their kings, their coming to these lands, and other stories which they knew from tales told to them by their forefathers, or from characters and books through which they learned in the past. And he goes on to mention some of the original documents which the author of Recordación Florida used in writing his history. The chronicler, Fuentes y Guzman, that's weird. E is like a middle name or something? That means and, though, right? Man, I just came up with a badass band name for me. So, people think that my name is Alex, but it's actually Alexander. But check this out. What about this band name? Alex and Oops, I spelled it wrong. Alex and Oh my god, that's so dumb. But I used to date a girl named Erin, and writing that immediately gave me bad flashbacks. So we're gonna go ahead and delete that really cool idea. And we'll just do Alex and R. That sounds funnier. Hey, that's why we're here. Okay, what the fuck was I doing? Oh, Fuentes y Guzman. That's where I got that idea. So this is Fuentes y Guzman. He wrote his history, Recolección, Florida. So I guess he probably lived in Massachusetts. Let's keep going. Fuentes y Guzman describes, in effect, different manuscripts which he claims to have had in his hands. Unfortunately, most of these documents have been lost. Among cool, among others that he had were 3 chique, I'm saying chique now, manuscripts. The author of one of them identifies himself in this way. Oh, so it's an this is a chique speaker. I, Don Francisco Gomez, first Azib, AHZIB, Quiche, or Chique, right here on this paper of the coming of our fathers and grandfathers from the other side of the sea, whence the sun rises. Isn't that just talking about the conquistadors? How did you get there? Within the shit? Why would you say that? The curious accounts of this author are supplemented by 2 other documents, first written by Don Juan de Torres, son of King Chignausilit, and Don Juan Marcario, his son, and the second. I don't understand that sentence. We're going to keep going, though. And the second, which is a notebook of the Calpueles, or noble families of the Santa Catarina, Iztaguacan, written on 28 pages, so it's just a list of families, by one of their chiefs, Don Francisco Garcia Calel Zumpan, who says at the beginning of his narrative, "Hi Lotus, come here. That being, come on, you deaf son of a bitch. Daughter, sorry. Narrative, that being the first to learn the meaning of our letters by order of the Reverend Bishop Don Francisco Meraquin, he writes this brief account of his elders, and that he begins the service on the 9th of December, 1561. I don't understand what's going on right now. That's all right, though. Ximenes, forgot. Shh. X is shh. You want to go see a shh movie? That works pretty good. This works pretty good, actually. Ximenes gave little importance to the documents that Fuentes y Guzman cites. Me too, because he didn't say much, right? Said most of them were lost. Oh no, I'm thinking of... Oh no, yeah, Fuentes y Guzman lost most of his documents. Fucking classic Fuentes y Guzman, huh? Alex and R. Shh. Gave little importance to the documents that Fuentes y Guzman cites, which, according to his judgment, offer very little authority because they were written by individual Indians of other towns, many years after the conquest, and without more information than that which was generally known among them. I could see you historically reading that and being like, this is pretty similar, but it was written kind of late. God, I gotta take the cover off this phone. That's so much better. Like, looks okay. Or does it look good? I don't really watch these. Okay, we got it. On the other hand, he says that the histories which he found and translated into Spanish are the originals of the court and those which their highest priests preserved according to their style of writing. And so, although most of it is wild fancy, they must be regarded as more authentic in all those things which they show good judgment. In which they show good judgment. I don't remember if Ximenes was like someone we should really be paying attention to. I don't remember if he's one of the good people who forced his religion on people. It seems like, I think we owe a lot of this book to Ximenes. I wish there was like a little thing where I could be like, hey, there is. Oh, it just says what Ximenes wrote. We're going to assume he's one of the good guys. My hero, Ximenes. Besides the Manuscrito de Chichicastenango, the following are the only original Chique documents which are preserved. Number 1, the original manuscript of the Historia Chique by Don Juan de Torres, dated October 24th. So are these... I'm assuming that these items are what Francisco Ximenes believes to be of importance in collecting and preserving in order to preserve the history of the Chique Mayans. I'm guessing. The original manuscript of the Historia Chique by Don Juan de Torres, dated October 24th, 1580, which differs from the manuscript which Fuentes y Guzman cites, and which contains the accounts of kings and lords, chiefs of the great houses, and of the chinamitales, or calpules, of the Quiche. Number 2, the Spanish translation of the Títulos de los antiguos nuestros antepasados, los que ganarán las tierras de Otzoya, written apparently in 1524, and bearing the signature of Don Pedro de Alvarado. Number 3, the Spanish translation of the Título de los Señores de Totonizapan, whatever, dated 1554, and number 4, the Papel de Origen de los Señores, included in the Descripción de Zapotitlán y Suchitepec, año de 1579. Despite their brevity, these documents contain interesting accounts of the origin, political organization, and history of the Chique people. I'll look up how to say that word, okay? I'll do it. You don't gotta tell me I look like shit, alright? I know. We're back on target. We're doing stuff. Okay. Despite their brevity, these documents contain interesting accounts of the origin, political organization, and history of the Chique people, which supplement the information given in the Popol Vuh, the book we're trying to read. We're only 65 pages away. Although written in another language, the Memorial Cachiquel de Solola, or Tecpan Atitlan. That's that big lake in Guatemala. I swam in it and got diarrhea because I drank some of the water, and it's just a big sewage dump. I didn't mean to drink the water, but I got really sick. Sorry, Atitlan. So, you don't say diarrhea when you're talking to people. No one wants to hear that word. I think it's because it's hard to spell. All right. So, the Tecpan Atitlan must be mentioned here, not only because of its great historical value, which I don't recall being mentioned before, but also because in the first part, it confirms much of the information given in the Popol Vuh, concerning the origin and emigrations of the tribes at the time, when they were all united and before they had separated into the different groups into which the territory of Guatemala was divided at the beginning of the 16th century. What is with Europe drawing lines on everything? What the fuck's your problem, Europe? I'm sorry about that. I'm not sorry. After the Spanish conquest, Francisco Hernandez Arana, grandson of one of the kings of the country and a member of the Shahila, Xahila family, Shahila family, began writing the Cochiquel book, and Francisco Diaz of the same family continued it and brought the narrative down to the year 1604. What? I am so bad with years. I don't have that type of brain where I could be like, okay, this is what he fucking said and this is what he meant or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. That's that part of that book. That's the Chronicle of the Indians. The Chronicle of the Indians. Let's hope that's what it's actually called. The Chronicles of the Indians. I think that was pretty fun. That was more like the Chronicles of Conquistadors describing this book, though, right? It wasn't really the Chronicles of the Indians, was it? So what did we learn? A lot of people knew this book existed. A lot of them wanted to get rid of it. But they talk about it. And honestly, I've never heard of it. And I don't remember why I bought this book. But let's remind ourselves of this picture. And think about it. Where do you think it is? Anyone remember? It calls them chronicles. August 15th, 2004. It's the day before my senior year started. And pretty darn close to my birthday. I don't even know what... We're not going to look at much. What do you think about that? Do you think we should continue to read the introduction? Or should we just jump into it? We can always go back. I'm going to just read a part in the middle, okay? This was exactly what those of Xibalba wanted to have happen to the boys, that they would die immediately right there in the ball court, and thus they would be overcome. But it did not happen thus, and it was the lords of Xibalba who were defeated by the boys. Do not leave, boys. Let us go on playing ball, but we shall use your ball. Yeah, okay. God darn it. Popol darn it. Godzilla darn it. That sounds fun. I can't wait to read this book. I don't know if I should. You should a little bit. You should a little bit. Should I? Do I need to? Do I need to read the fucking introduction to everything on the planet? Honestly, I had a lot of fun with that one. I'm really excited about this book. Next, we'll finish up the last couple pages of this chapter. Ancient Evenings. That's tomorrow, though. Hey, I love you. Sorry.